This is the FitFems movement. Have you felt overwhelmed with your fitness journey and feel like you just want to give up? Are you a busy female professional or entrepreneur looking for weight loss and self-care solutions that you can squeeze into your hectic schedule? Then you're in the right place. Let's get inspired to make fitness and healthy living improve rather than consume your life. Together, we'll take major strides towards a happier, healthier, even wealthier you. I'm Julia Hickman, your host and coach.
Hello, thank you for joining me here today, and I hope that you're ready to listen to this episode. I wanted to do a quick intro before we get started because I'm actually sharing an interview that I did on Facebook because I wanted to showcase the topic that we covered, and in this interview with my entrepreneur friend Natalie Biesel, we talked about energy and the importance of having like an amazing morning routine to start your day off as amazingly as possible. And even though we really talked about like how this improves the life of an entrepreneur, since both of us work with entrepreneurs, this can make sense for you too, even if you're not an entrepreneur. This can make sense for you if you are a busy mom with a crazy day, juggling many things. If you are, somebody who's in school, if you are somebody who maybe is just, just dealing with a lot of things, and you're just looking for inspiration and like actual tactics that you can put into practice to really improve your morning routine. So again, this interview is with Natalie Biesel. She's a brand expert, and she's also a coach for creatives. So I hope you enjoy it. Listen to the end, and it would be so amazing if you could please leave us a review. If you're listening on iTunes or on the podcast app, it's really simple to just look on your phone and rate and review the episode of the podcast as a whole right there. All right, well, I'm going to let you go. Go ahead and listen.
Good morning, everyone. Julia Hickman here. I'm the founder of the Fashionista Online Studio and the creator of the FitFems Tribe Facebook group. I haven't done a guest interview in a while due to pregnancy and kind of getting used to
the whole giving birth thing.
Yeah, I had to take a little break from having some guest expert friends come on with me and talk about ways to help you improve your lives. So we don't just cover fitness and nutrition here. We talk about all facets of wellness, of our well-being. And because I have many followers who are career women, working professionals, and entrepreneurs, I always like to bring on guests who have quite a bit of knowledge and expertise in other things that I'm not quite an expert on. So this morning, I'm joined by my friend Natalie Biesel, and she is the founder of herhabits.com. And Natalie, we're going to be talking about energy and how to help entrepreneurs like really start their days off full of energy, because this has been something that has been really important to me. Natalie and I both, we do live launches. So we do like these 5-day live workshops for our potential clients. And it's really important that we show up with a lot of energy, a lot of vitality. You want to show the best of you and be able to really connect with your audience. But even if somebody who's watching this, even if you don't do a live launch, even if you're like, I don't even what's a live launch, no worries. This will be important for you as well. And if anybody is watching and you want to say hello, if you have any questions, you can pop them on. If you click on the link, you will give StreamYard permission to show your name. That way we can see your name. So, Natalie, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Tell us about how you started your business, and then we'll go into some questions.
Yeah, so thanks so much for having me, Julia. Happy to be here. My name is Natalie Biesel. I am founder of herhabits.com. I am a former entrepreneur, former full-time professional creative for nearly 2 decades. I worked my way up a corporate ladder. And then a few years at the end of my corporate career, I just realized that I was getting the entrepreneurial tug. So I took the leap, started my own business. I had the idea of her habits because I was obsessed with habits actually. And now the more that I get to know about human design, I realize that human design habits are even built into my human design. So it's like I'm obsessed with habits. I've always been obsessed with habits and like actually just making my life easier and making my business easier by like getting into the habit of doing the thing that I want to do. So this is something that I, now work with my creative clients. I decided to, instead of working as a creative, now I'm a coach for creatives because I realized that there's so many things that creatives, especially if you decide to take the entrepreneurial leap, there's so many things that we struggle with just because we're like so creative.
Yeah.
And so I decided to help creatives grow their business. And the way that I like to do it is inherently creative and fun and like just getting into the habit of doing the things that you need to do so that kind of happens on autopilot. So I really like to create my business and life so that the things that I need to do are on repeat and just help other people figure out how they can do the same. Because I think especially for creatives and for anyone, like if you're not having fun while growing your business, if you're not having fun, then what is the freaking point? I had a coach one time. I remember she just kind of flipped out on this girl in the group coaching call because the girl was complaining about, not making money. And she was like, I'm sorry, what the fuck? Like, if you're here to make money, you just stop because you should not be here doing entrepreneurship just to make the money. Like, you want to
Yeah.
make money? Get a job. It's a lot easier to just go
Yeah.
get the job for the money. So, we as creative entrepreneurs, we do it for different reasons. We do it because we want our own lifestyle. We do it because we want to be able to fit our work into the things that we love to do. And that's like the mission of Her Habits. It's like, how can you fit your life, your business, and really like your true like love, which is your art, your work. For me, my business is my baby. How can you fit that into your life in a way that meets your goals on repeat, while having fun. So that's why I started the business, and that's what I'm on a mission to help people do.
Great. So I have a couple of questions. First of all, can you tell us a little bit what exactly is human design? Because I've heard that terminology. This past year is actually the first time I've been introduced to it, but I still don't quite know what that is. So if you could educate us a little bit on that.
There's a couple sites that I can share because it's like
Oh no, I lost your sound.
oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
No, it's strange.
Can you hear me now?
Still can't hear you.
Still connected to my Yeti mic here. It looks like it's on. I'm not sure why it looks like it's
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Weird.
So
Man, we
weird.
really is
I thought
Mercury in
Mercury,
retrograde?
yes, I know it was in retrograde up until last week. So
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways, so
Sorry.
human design.
Yeah, human design is actually something that it's kind of hard to describe. It's like personality test times 1000 because it actually goes into like it's like your specific record and every single person has their own unique human design. So if you go and you get your human design chart by putting in your birth time, the exact hour to the exact minute, you will get what is called your human design chart. And, you can literally spend years going into like nerdy detail over it. But, I haven't gone super off the deep end, but some of the things that you learn, like your energy type, it just makes so much sense whenever you learn what it is. Because, like, for example, my energy type is a generator. And a generator is basically like the worker bees of society. Like, we love to work, we have endless energy. There's another energy type called a projector, and my husband is a projector. And projectors, like, they have to rest a lot. They cannot even like hold a candle to the amount of work that generators can do. And they need to rest a lot, and they have to be invited to things. So like when we started looking at my husband's like past entire, like actually his whole life, we realized he had been invited to go to this job. He had been invited to go to grad school. He had been invited for every time that he had traveled the world, someone called him up and was like, hey, do you want to go to this event for free? And he's like, sure. And I'm like, how does this happen to you? So you start seeing, once you know a little bit, you start looking back and you're like, oh, okay, I see the patterns. So it's really cool. And I think it's really like telling, because we each have our own specific ways that we need to be invited to things, and we each have our own specific ways to follow our intuition. Like your way of following your gut, like for a generator, it's simply a yes or a no. Whenever I say like, do I want to sign up for this course, I get a sacral response in my body, like I just felt it. It's like yes or no. But some people, it's more of an intuitive thing. Some people, they get it once and then it's gone. It's like, so we can't, the cool thing about human design is you realize like you can't put everybody, especially coming back to the topic of energy, in one bucket, because we all, have these different ways of being out in the world. And there's open channels and closed channels, and it's related to the chakra system. And it really is cool. Like I would totally, if people are interested, I can give you, Julia, the link to go and get your chart. You have to know the exact time, because they say if you don't, like it'll be off, and you don't want to get like a chart.
I'm like personally interested in looking this up for myself. So
yeah, you should. I'll send you the link, and then you can share it with the people, because it's definitely fascinating, and you can go down, you can get as nitty, like it's, some people just focus their entire career on just doing human design because there's so much there, and there's so much you can do with your clients as well.
Yeah. Interesting. Love it. And I love another thing you said about entrepreneurship, and how that coach of yours called this person. I was like no, the money, it's not about the money. You have to actually love what you're doing. It has to mean more. And I think that sometimes as entrepreneurs, and it's happened to me too, where I get through these periods where I'm just doing so much. I'm consuming a lot of just shiny object things. I'm signing up for all these webinars and workshops and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not fully enjoying what I'm doing. And I have to kind of take a step back and be like, this isn't why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like I didn't do this so I could be all crazy busy, so it's so important. And I would love to hear what you teach your clients. Like, how do you teach your clients to create like a schedule, like a routine that leaves them feeling good and feeling productive, but not like drained and busy? What would you say to that?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And I think, the first thing whenever I work with people, the first thing that I want to look at their schedule and see what is on their plate and what can they take off of their plate. Because I think whenever you are an overwhelm, the first thing that you need to realize is like, one, have the awareness to know that you're an overwhelm, because overwhelm doesn't lead to anything creative. You know, it's like the opposite of creative, and just being in your brain all the time, like creativity isn't going to happen there. So like if you're trying to run your creative business, you're trying to like, you know, turn your business into an art, or not your art into a business, or if you're just like a coach and you're trying to do a launch and you're trying to come up with all these creative ideas, the last thing that you want to be is like in your head. So like the first thing that I tell people is like, what can you take off of your plate, and look at your schedule, and like literally every single thing that you can take. Like I like to brain dump at the beginning of each week, every single thing. I do this every single Monday for like 2 hours. I brain dump every single thing that I want to do for the next like few weeks. Even if it's like make a dentist appointment, I don't care. It's important to get your brain clear and free. And I've noticed on the Mondays when I haven't done it, I feel scattered, you know? So you get it all out of your brain. Then you say, okay, which of this stuff do I want to schedule? What do I want to delegate? And what do I want to just like totally get rid of, because it's not really important. And then I put it on my calendar, and then I rip it up and throw it away. And I follow it, because if I didn't follow it, all that shit wouldn't get done. And I've just thrown away the paper. So it kind of keeps me motivated, you know? But I realized that like, I'm tired of having journals. I'm tired of doing all that stuff. I don't want any more things to accumulate, because I'm a minimalist. So like, I know that creativity comes in blank space. So doing a brain dump in the beginning of the week is something that I highly recommend for everyone, because like you can actually get shit done and be more efficient, because you're focusing on what it is that you need to do, and you can schedule it. And the cool thing about scheduling it is sometimes I'll have an idea, like I'm launching a podcast for creatives in January, and I'll have an idea for like a podcast, but then I'll just schedule it, you know, for like December 15th, because I'm not launching it until January, but I still got it out of my brain. So I think like gaps are where the creative ideas come from. So like in your calendar, and then like, you know, one of the most important things that I think people can do is sleep on the regular, even though, you know, we fight it tooth and nail. It really is just like an easy way to get more energy, just like a simple way. And then the other thing that I do literally all day, every day, whenever I, you know, am especially an overwhelmed brain, is I just go to the park. Because when I'm surrounded by trees and in nature, it's like a light switch. My brain is like, ooh, you know, you got all the creative juices flowing. Sometimes like we have a park, like a city park. It's called Cherokee Park, and it's beautiful. And we're really lucky to have it here in Louisville. And so like sometimes my husband he'll drive like to the grocery, and I'll say, just drop me off at the park. And then I just walk home, you know, and it's only like 3 miles, but all my good ideas come when I'm walking in the woods. None of my good ideas come when I'm sitting in front of a computer. So like if I, you know, right before this call, I did my entire morning routine because I wanted to have energy for the call. So like, you know, if you just have a day like Saturday, we have a yard sale. Am I going to get up and do my entire full-blown morning routine? No, probably not, because, you know, we have a yard sale, like no big deal. Whenever I'm going to be on a podcast or hosting a podcast, or, you know, on a client call, like then I definitely want to do my morning routine, because it's make or break for my energy. And it's just like, if you make that time, you know, even if it's, for me, it's an hour, but it took me a long time to get to an hour. Like it started out with 10 minutes, you know, and then over the years it grew to an hour. But that is just a precious time. You can take time to figure out like what energizes you. And so for me, I realized that even though I don't love cardio makes me feel great. So like, what do? I run around the block. Like it doesn't have to be, my husband runs 12 miles. I never in a million years want to run that. I run around the neighborhood, and then I'm back like in 10 minutes, and then I feel better. I do yoga after that, and then I do EFT, and then I do meditation, and then I have my bulletproof coffee, and it's like a beautiful thing for me. And I can show up with energy for my day, which is my job as a coach. You know what I mean? Like my job is to show up fully energized so I can help my people and like be in the best space that I can be for them. So that's what I consider like my part is like getting in the energy of being ready for that.
Yes, absolutely. And I love how you said that you started out with, just 10 minutes and then that
Yes.
grew into this longer routine now. I feel like sometimes when we are outside of that, like, so if you right now don't have a morning routine, an hour sounds so daunting. Like, oh my God, like I
Yes.
don't have an hour in the morning, or I already wake up so early. Like I can't imagine waking up at like 4 a.m. to start my day. But if you just take 10 minutes, like Natalie said, that could still make a big difference for you. And maybe your morning routine is a little bit different. Like maybe it's 10 minutes at the very, when you first roll out of bed, and maybe it's another 10 minutes in the middle of the morning. Like maybe that works for you. So I think it's so important to just start with something and then have that become a habit, and then you build on it, you build upon it, and you turn it into whatever best thing is for you, right? Like for me personally, I am not a morning person. I will get up in the morning, and I'm more like your husband. Like I'm like, I love like the 12-mile runs, but I will I prefer to like if I'm training for like a race, I prefer to run either in the middle of the morning or like early afternoon. That's usually like for running, that's like when I feel the most like empowered to get out
Mm-hmm.
there. But if I have to run a really long if I have a really long training run to do, I usually meet other people. So then if I know I'm meeting other people, then it's like I'll get up at 5 a.m. to do that. So I have different motivators to,
Totally.
to get me up and going. But for the most part, like what works for me is, start my morning off with positive affirmations. Right now, I have a 10-week-old baby, so it's a little bit hard because usually she's just kind of waking me up and it's all about her first thing in the morning. But
Totally.
you adapt according to whatever's going on in your life. And being an entrepreneur, there's beauty in that because you get to, you're making your own schedule anyway. So, and I think, right now in this, in this world that we're all living, most of us are working from home anyway. So do what you can, start with what you can.
Yes. Start simple and start small. And I say like, if the resistance is there, then you've already, like, if you're just getting started and you're like, okay, I want to run for, an hour. And then, okay, well, cut that in half. I want to run for 30 minutes. Still feel resistance. What about cut that in half? Try 15 minutes. How does that sound? Cut that in half. How does like 5 to 7 minutes sound? And if you're still like, then start with a minute. And once you say to yourself, like, oh yeah, I totally have a minute. I could totally run for 1 minute, any of us can run down the street of our homes, hopefully. Well, maybe not if you live in New York City right now, but I have an indoor exercise bike that I've been so grateful for during this time because I have an app and there's a guy on there with a trainer who I love. And I've been listening to his playlist for years because it's like having a dance party on the bike and like getting my heart, like they're hard,
Yeah.
And so I do like, I've gone 30-day streaks where I've done that every day in a row. And then like, I'll skip a day to run or something. And then I'll do 30 more days because like, they're just fun. And it's like having a trainer in your ear and like great music at the same time. So I love stuff like that. But if you didn't have a bike, if I didn't have a bike, I would definitely just like the reason why I run is for the energy. Like my husband likes to run like he likes to run, he likes to compete. So I think it's totally like depends on who you are and what you like to do. And I always think of it as like finding your recipe, so that you can actually feel good, like training for a race is one thing, but does it give you energy, So it's like, you might even consider like having something that you do just for the energy recipe And then
Right.
also know that like, hey, you love running and you're going to fit that in too. Because it makes even, a little goes a long way. And
Yeah.
especially in the morning, and especially to get your energy going. So like, if I don't have all the time in the world, I'll do a minimal version of my routine where it's like a 10-minute workout, a 10-minute yoga, a 10-minute, I chop everything into 10-minute chunks. And that's like the small version for me. And so yeah, you can always condense it. And then whenever you have like a nice, long, luxurious morning to yourself, then like, do the whole 90-minute thing. If you have the time, why not? Well, you have a little one, so you probably, it's tougher, but for those of us that are privileged enough to have the time, I'm like, if I have a nice, relaxing morning to myself, then why not do the 30-minute yoga or the 45-minute, it's like,
Yeah.
it's so enjoying. You leave and you feel like just a different, better version of yourself, which is what I'm after. So it's worth it. It's worth the time.
Yeah, we've just been getting back into yoga. Well, I've been getting back into yoga. I hired a yoga instructor to be part of my program. And now she does a session every week, which I haven't been catching every week with her, but it's just so nice to know that it's there and I can always go back and do any of the sessions. But yes, we love yoga. So very nice. So Natalie, I know you have an exciting workshop coming up. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I'm actually, I actually put the workshop on hold.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I was going to launch a workshop, and now we're moving cross country. So I'm not giving myself permission to not do it right in the middle of a cross country move.
Yeah.
But I am super excited. I am launching a podcast in January that I think the name is going to be The Empowered Creative. It's like the working name. And I'm just really super excited because I don't see a space where creative people have like a platform where we can learn from each other, like learn from other creative people. Because I think, a lot of times we're told as creatives that like things have to be hard. Business has to be hard. Business has to be tactical. Business has to be strategic. Business has to be. And so like, I'm here to, look like this podcast is really like, let's look at business from a totally different lens, a creative lens, actually, one in which we can do things we love, like run, like, yoga, like do the things that we love to do and know, or like be in the woods like I always am to get my creative ideas. Like I really think that it's the idea that we can get our best ideas, not in front of our desk is huge. Like we all feel this pressure to like be in front of our desk, and because we've been trained to do that as like corporate employees, but actually like the most creative ideas come when you're outside of your desk. And I really want to like, not only like give people permission to do that, but hear stories of people who have built businesses, built products, services, and companies that are kind of in this new way of looking at business. So that'll be launching in 2021. And I'm just like, could not be more thrilled.
Yeah, I can't wait. Well, you'll have to keep me posted when that launches, and we'll share it too. So that's very exciting. All right. So thank you so much for chatting with me today. Thank you for you guys who are watching. Let us know if you're watching the replay. Let us know if you have any questions. You can tag Natalie, and I'm sure she'll be happy to answer any questions. And yeah, I look forward to learning more about human design too. So
check out human design, and you'll go down the rabbit hole. And then let me know what your chart is, because I could probably tell you a few things right offhand just from seeing it, like the major obvious things.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Nice to chat with you.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Fit Femmes movement. I would love to hear your thoughts on the podcast, so please leave us a review. And sharing is caring. If you know someone who may benefit from this episode, please share it with them. We need more women up-leveling to their highest selves with grace, courage, and ease.
If you'd like to connect with me more and have access to free live trainings and join a community of hundreds of other amazing women, then join my free Facebook group, the Fit Femmes Tribe.